Hey there, I'm Alan Matthews, and in this video we are going to talk about visualizing for extra guitar practice. So visualizing isn't just making pictures in your head, although that's a big part of it. It's also hearing sounds in your head. It's hearing a piece. So if you just think about a piece that you might be playing or that you'd like to play, and you just kind of go over it in your head and you can hear it, that's also visualizing. Or feelings, kind of remembering a feeling from something else or imagining the feeling of playing very effortlessly and smoothly. That's also visualizing. So really it should be called sensualizing or sensating or something, but it can involve all of your senses. And so whenever we're actually away from the guitar, one of the things that we can do to really boost our guitar playing is to visualize the things that we're working on, and then that'll just give it that extra practice. And athletes have been doing this for a really long time, visualizing success, visualizing their game. I'm gonna visualize my golf swing instead of working. And then all of a sudden the golf game gets better because all this time has been spent on it. In this video, what we're gonna look at is different things that you can actually visualize. So then we can say, yes, what we're gonna visualize. So we can say, yes, I want to visualize throughout the day for better guitar playing. But then the question is, what do you visualize? So to begin with, you can just visualize the things that you're working on in your technique practice, which is a lot of right hand work. So you can imagine your perfect form. My fingers are nice and curved, my wrist is up, I'm touching the strings in such a way whenever I play, you can just think of this slow-mo. I move from the big knuckle and push in, and this knuckle right here goes into the palm. My tip joint stays supple and soft. You can just imagine these and just have the image of that going on in your head. Something like that. It doesn't have to be fast. It doesn't have to last for very long. You just have to just blink it in there. And then that counts as practice. You can also, with your left hand, you can imagine doing a scale pattern, something like that. You can just imagine your form. A nice, beautiful C shape in your hand, like this, and just whatever happens to be you happen to be working on. You can imagine your slurs, anything that you're working on. You can also visualize your chord shapes. And so this is a C chord, and so you can just imagine, boom, this is the shape of a C chord, right? This is the shape of an A minor chord. You can just imagine these chord shapes, especially if you're just learning these chords, just imagine chunk, chunk. And so this is going to be a combination of imagining your hand, imagining what chord it is, remembering what chord it is. One of the ways that we form really rich mental representations in our guitar playing is by using grids. And so in our mind, we might be thinking, okay, there's our A minor chord that we had before. It can also be represented by a grid, and so you can just imagine chord grids of what, or a scale grid of whatever notes happen to be in there. But grids are one of the things that we visualize. You can also visualize your sheet music. If you're working on a particular piece, there's a big first section through here, and then there's a repeat, and then I go forward, and then I come back to the top, and you can imagine these things, so like a big view. In addition to that, you can also zero in and just think about just a couple of measures or a particular section that you're working on and think, what's my first note of that section? Oh, that's right, it's a C chord or a C note. And then it goes up and then the bass takes over and then goes down from there. So that you can just remember this little section goes like this. The next, you can drill yourself on different things. So you can say, okay, where is a G note? Do all the G's in the open position. Okay, there's one down on the 3rd fret of the 6th string. There's one on the open G. There's one on the top G 3rd fret or top E 3rd fret. You can test yourself in these ways. Or what is the 3rd space? The 3rd space, what is that? F-A-C-E, it's a C. Where do I play that? So you can play these little mental flashcard games with yourself. Test yourself on just note names on the neck. What is the 5th fret on the 6th string? You can just ask yourself this question and then figure it out. And so then what you'll start doing is you'll start visualizing the neck. Okay, the open E, and then the 1st fret's the F, and then the 3rd is the G, and then the 5th is the A. It's an A. And so you would actually start thinking, you'd picture this in your mind, and then walk up it. You can do that with just the natural notes. You can also do it with all the notes and say, especially if you're learning upper positions, what is the 8th fret on the 2nd string? Oh, okay, that's a G. So you can just test yourself on these anytime you like to. With your pieces, your different hand shapes. You can also just sing to yourself in the phrasing. Oh, I want this to go like this. Whoa, whatever. Instead of just doing it straight, I want it to curve in this beautiful way, or I want to accent that note or not accent that note. And you can just imagine and play it to yourself. Professional musicians do a lot of this sort of thing. This is one of the things that separate amateur musicians from, or lower level musicians from really high level musicians, is the ability to practice away from the instrument and just sit somewhere and go through a piece of music and just absolutely work out problems, figure out ways of phrasing and to make it beautiful, know it better, memorize it. It's amazing. There are some musicians have been known to memorize entire symphonies and concertos, just like riding a train, and then show up and be able to play it. Boom, because they did the entire thing visually in their head. So this is visualization for guitar. It's great to do as much as you can, so much the better. Have fun with that, and I look forward to seeing you in the near future. Bye-bye.